and they were all Black artists. And I believe that's the reason why I wasn't allowed to keep my floor routine, because it's not my dance. I've danced multiple times like that.
Remember, this show is PG-13, so you might hear a naughty word or two. Welcome to Gymcastic, the #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. And today's episode, directly from camp, is sponsored by Club Gym Nerd members. Thank you all for helping us pay for this trip. And also our sponsor, Norbert's. Norbert's is having a sale on, are you ready for this? The jump half turn mat. You know, if you've ever coached or you have littles and you need to keep them occupied all the time, or an uncoordinated adult, how much you need a jump half turn mat in your house. Also, vinyl runway tape, because you know how that gets torn up. Go to norberts.com for a 10% discount on anything with the code Gymcastic. Norberts is also giving away a $50 Norberts gift card that can be used on anything in their online store. No minimum. Just follow Norberts Athletic on Instagram, then like and comment on the giveaway post. Good luck. Today, I'm in Texas, recording live from National Team Camp. We did interviews one day. We got to watch workout yesterday. I'm going to tell you everything that I saw and learned from watching Simone, watching Suni, talking to Chiles, everyone we talked to, Joss, Cello, so many people. Plus, there's more Utah fallout we'll discuss. And LSU broke the vault and then broke the program record because it's a banner year, everyone. It's February 6th, and welcome to the #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. And I'm joined by Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation, who has links and scores and all the gifts you need every single week. This week, College and Cocktails is going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Friday night, as usual, you guys. Arkansas versus Florida.
We might start a little earlier this week with our 6 p.m. because to balance it out for the early sleepers. And I understand your plight. So we're going to record while Alabama Auburn is going on. I might have that on in the background. We'll talk about it. We'll be done in time for UCLA, Oregon State, because that's the late start. So it's going to be a whole thing. Very exciting.
The drink is the score builder. So prepare, because there was a big score building.
Have the menu already.
So camp.
Yes.
So what I want to tell you guys, if you're listening to this later, is that our Club Gym Nerd members are listening to us record this live. And yes, I will have a bonus story for you guys. So if you're already a Club Gym Nerd member and you're not listening to this live, switch over to your feed, that you have a special feed that's just for you guys that you can listen to. So you get the bonus story, because boy, do I have a story for you guys. Okay. So first of all, we talked to lots of athletes on whatever day it was. We did interviews on Sunday. And I asked Jordan Chiles why she changed her college floor routine. And this is what she said.
We have no volume.
Let's go back, because we don't have audio for a second. And while we do that, I want to tell you that I was doing my interview with Group 1. Thank you very much. With Scott Bregman from the Olympic Channel and Will Graves from the AP.
Very special Group 1.
I'm just saying, you guys, I mean, there's a reason we're Group 1, and and so you'll hear their follow-up questions, because we all kind of worked together and talked about our questions.
So as we're waiting to do that, do you want to, we'll talk about Jordan, we'll talk about what she had to say. Do you want to fill me in on every move Simone possibly ever made?
Yes, I do. Okay.
Because that's what I'm very interested in what Jordan has to say about her floor routine. And I probably will be incensed by what they made her do, I'm assuming. But,
You will be so incensed, you guys. Okay, so yes.
Every move Simone possibly ever made.
Okay.
Every step, every breath, every sigh, every eye roll.
So, oh my God, the eye rolls, you guys. Let me start with this. Simone gives zero shits about physical abilities testing anymore.
That is the correct response.
No one has cared ever less. She got up on bar. So basically, physical abilities is what you guys have heard about these for years. It's the physical testing they do when they first get there. And you have to do a bunch of split jumps in a row and straddle jumps in a row. You have to do cast handstands a bunch of times, press handstands on beam, hold a handstand on beam. You have to do a long jump, this kind of stuff. So anyway, long jumps. So basically, Simone goes to bars, does one cast handstand, jumps off. You're supposed to just jump up and do them, right? She does another jump, cast handstand once. You go back down on the bar, front support, casts again, does like messes up, goes over the bar, jumps down, looks at the judge who's doing the keeping score, and is like, just waves at her like, nah, I don't care. And leaves. Doesn't do it again. Just leaves. Like, this is my favorite thing that's ever happened in the history of camp. Marta would die. She would die. Oh, I can't tell you guys what a cultural shift that is from the olden days, where like when Simone, like her first camp, she didn't do all of her V-ups, or she jumped down from doing her V-ups, and Marta marched over to her and was like, "What are you doing?" And Simone's like, "I'm tired." But she got in trouble, and now Simone's like, "No, I don't care." She did do the rope climb, of course, in like 0.3 seconds, and talked while she was doing it, because of course she did. Oh my God, it was the best thing ever. The other thing that happened is that okay, we'll get to that. Let's try the Jordan Chiles live. It's fun doing things live, you guys, and we'll get to your questions.
Everything goes great every time.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be completely honest. The culture. My routine was all 90s, and they were all Black artists, and I believe that's the reason why I wasn't allowed to keep my floor routine. Because it's not my dance. I've danced multiple times like that. I've danced, it was fine the first year I did it when I had my college routine. So I'm pretty sure it was the culture and the diversity that I had within my music.
You say when you weren't allowed. Yeah. Did someone say that to you?
Yes. I'm not gonna say who it was, but I had asked my coach, and I said why, and they said that the head, not the head of USAG, but the head, basically asked if there was a way that I could change my music and my floor routine. So that's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want there to be any situation or anything like that. So yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, I do have to ask a follow-up though. Was that to appease the judging?
Yes. They didn't think I was gonna get judged the proper way, I should say. Wasn't USA like, I guess, if you want to put it like that. Right. No, I really it's like hard to say it without saying who the people are, but I mean, I'm not mad. Look, I did change it. I changed it to where I could, still enjoy having that college fun Jordan with the elite Jordan. So yes, there was some, cool moves in and out, but do I wish I was able to have that routine? Yes, 100%. I tried fighting for it, and it was still a no.
Do you think the league needs to evolve in that capacity then?
I feel like there should never be a situation where you have to change your routine because of the music choice. You're not the one doing it. We are. And I feel like, at the end of the day, if you think that I'm not going to get judged a certain way, then what's the point of having artistic and gymnastics?
What's the point of having artistic in gymnastics? She killed it with that. So basically, to recap for you guys, what happened? So I asked Jordan why she changed her routine. Remember her routine that went viral in college that had all the 90s routines and like salt and pepper and all that stuff. So I asked her, knowing why it was changed, why she had to change it. And she said that her coaches were told by someone that it had to be changed because they didn't think she would be judged fairly. Spencer, go ahead. Your reaction.
Yeah, there's a lot of reacting sounds, because it displays, if nothing else, a deep misunderstanding of what is being looked for on floor. Like, I'm not saying there aren't racist judges out there. We know, I mean, we can assume that there are, but they have, the current incarnation of the Women's Technical Committee has gone out of their way to say we don't want floor routines that are the way they used to be. And that this idea of like, oh, you have to be this fake ballerina, and that's the only way you can have a floor routine that's going to score well, is just flat out not true anymore. And so it's hurtful and also factually inaccurate in the same way to ask Jordan, or tell Jordan. It's not asking. Sounds like it was more telling that she had to change her floor routine. I really respect Alicia and Chelsea for taking on the roles that they've taken on, because there is so much to fix still. So much to fix. So, anywho,
We'll get to questions that you guys have in a little bit, but let me tell you more stuff about camp. So,
we talked about Simone being like, guess what's stupid? The physical abilities testing.
Yes.
And she's right, because it has no correlation whatsoever to success in gymnastics, because Simone doesn't want to do it and she's doing fine.
Yep.
But skills, what was Simone doing?
Okay,
Routines?
so Simone, she didn't do a lot. You guys, I want to preface this by saying, like, this was the first day of really workouts. It's an accommodation workout. They do their dumb physical testing thing. And I'm saying that because even Valeria used to tell Nasia, like, don't worry about this, is dumb. And there's no correlation between winning physical abilities and winning gymnastics. They're literally, they might be inversely proportioned, actually. But anyway, so there wasn't a lot of like full routines or people going all out. So, but Simone did go to vault and she did the highest Yurchenko just layout I've ever seen. Like, remember Michaela Maroney just did a Yurchenko back tuck and it was like above a tall building. Like from where I was sitting, I could see the high bar and Simone, and her layout was as high as the high bar. So that's what, 12 feet in the air. You guys, it's so freaking high. So then she did an Amanar. And the thing is, she has so much power. So she did an Amanar to jet propulsioned herself almost into the bars out of the pit, which are the bars are behind the vault pit. Then she did another one, and she did a more of a like land and fly forward. And then she did one that was like would have been a step had she been on a regular mat.
This is my competition Amanar.
Yeah, because they're all. No one was doing things on. Well, not everyone. Some people tumbled on hard and did like full ins. Like Zoe Miller did a really great full in. Some other people tumbled, but there wasn't a lot of like doing things on hard surfaces. So I would say, based on the past, I think she's probably like, I did my double pike, I proved I can do it, I did it in competition, and now I'm gonna go back to my Amanar. Would you say?
Interesting. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, she has done that before. She did that with the Biles one on vault. She was like, okay, we got this named. I don't want to do this one anymore. So it could be. I mean, I think with a vault like the Yurchenko double pike, regardless, you might feel like it's not happening. And if you don't feel like it's happening, don't do it, because it's so scary. Even for Simone, it's scary. You want to keep all your options fresh anyway. So you always want to have like the Amanar in the back pocket to be like, if I'm not feeling with the Yurchenko double pike, I've at least been training the Amanar and I'm ready to land it in competition.
Yeah. Margaritaville says, so our Club Gym Nerd members are joining us live, so we're going to answer some of their questions.
Margaritaville says, I'm so happy to hear she's working Amanars. It sounded like she still had some PTSD about that in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever works for her. Exactly. That's what we want. Simone happy. Simone being like, physical abilities are dumb is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also loved, I mean, this is another thing that's huge. Like, it was always known during Martis camps, no one could sit down. The coaches weren't allowed to sit down. The gymnasts weren't allowed to sit down. You got on beam and you never got off the beam the whole practice. Simone would do a pass, like a tumbling pass. She'd do a couple Biles, and then she'd sit down and relax. Then she'd do it. And I'm like, you need to sit more when you're 26 than when you're 16 doing gymnastics. I'm okay with this. Everyone was sitting. It wasn't just Simone. It was like, people were like, oh, I can relax. It's the first day. Let me the culture, it's so different, you guys. It's so different. What else would you like to know?
Okay, so we did every move Simone made. So I feel like, judging by Twitter, it was a Suni show. Suni's beam was the show. So I also want to know about that.
Suni did 2 full rotations of beam, also something you weren't allowed to do back in the day. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. So I will go into the details on every single thing that she did on beam, but I did tell you, I was like, here are my hilarious notes from just typing live so you can see what I'm looking at. But I wanted to ask you what her exact difficulty would be. We don't know what her dismount is, but she did change it to a round off something. So she's definitely not doing back handsprings into a dismount now, and she's doing a layout mount. So based on the things, what do you think it could be up to?
Yeah, so we don't really know yet, because it sounds like she was working on, like, sometimes she would tack on a split jump after this skill or sometimes not. So she has some leeway there. But she was doing the 6-2 last year. And so she's adding this mount sequence, which is, I think, the big news in Suni's composition, which is the round off layout step out mount. And she was doing that to flick flack, flick flack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an E skill and 10th of connection and a 10th of series bonus. So adding that in there, we're talking like she could have 6'4", 6'5", even with a C dismount, which I think is the significant part of this composition for Suni, because 6'5" is what Simone won the gold at Worlds with last year. It's what Zhou Yaqin had for silver. We're going to see higher ones depending on who ends up making the Chinese team, but like Zheng Qingying, 6'8", 7, Chu, possibly very high. But I think significant to be in the realm of 6'5", even if she's doing a C dismount, because you can win Olympic gold potentially with a 6'5". Yeah. I don't think you're going to be able to win with a 6'2" unless it's like one of those beam finals, which it's beam at the Olympics that obviously could be. But I think 6'5", you're getting into the realm of you could win. And I think that composition takes the pressure off her having a D dismount back. And then if she does have a D dismount, we're talking like 6'8". It's one of the highest difficulties at the Olympics should she be there. So that's kind of the perspective on her D score. It's good. It's good and it's high.
Yep. I want to give you guys...
good and it's nice and I like. That's
watching her beam, you would never know a day passed since the Olympics. Every skill was perfect. Every ring leap, everything was perfect. Nothing changed. There's this thing, but she only did a little bit of bars, and beam. And, there are a lot of people that only did like 2 events. I mean, everyone's at their own pace, but just seeing her there and she seemed relaxed, doing her thing, and that she was allowed to just do her thing and was supported in that, I think is like the biggest victory in all of this. Was like, yeah, do whatever you can. We're happy to have you here. Like, she's not on the national team, which I have problems with, but anyway. But we'll go into more details later. Do you have other questions?
Sure, I have other questions. So, okay, as we know, it's the Olympic year. Who would you say, besides like Suni and the famous names, would you say is already in, like, we're not talking about no city championships mode? Which, by the way, this is the 20th anniversary of we're not talking about no city championships, which is also very important, just as a historical anniversary.
It is. We need to make shirts to commemorate that. That's Tasha Schweikert's mom, everybody. Yeah. Bless the quotes we got from her. Oh, I'll live to have a parent like that again. Addison Feta is in... Okay.
She's not talking about no city championships.
Yes.
The Olympics? Yeah.
She's did everything 100 times, tumbled on hard. She did all the stuff. I think when she goes, I think she's going to Oklahoma. She's going to kill it. She's going to be freaking amazing. I don't see her having a spot on a team, especially with Gabby back, if Suni's back, and with the people on the world team that are coming back, Chiles, 3 Olympic champions. I don't see it happening, but I can see her being a really good alternate that you can kind of plug in a lot of places. But she was in full out. I have somebody to prove. Yeah. You could trust me. I can do all the skills right now. Other people that had Linzers.
Linzer asks, does it seem like they're pacing Suni correctly with her healing process / health concerns?
Chelsea Memel did say in an interview with Scott Bregman that that now that Suni is off her medication, things seem to be better. So, she kept, Jess, her coach, kept saying that was like up and downs and trying to fix what medication was correct for her. So that, I guess, maybe that's the reason. We didn't get to talk to Suni or Jess, so we didn't get to interview them specifically about this. So, but I mean, the fact that she was able to do, Alicia said that, not Chelsea. Thank you so much, Scott. Scott is here to correct. And by the way, you guys, if you want to
checking team today.
Yes, we do. And, I like to give full credit for everything. So also there were so many times this weekend when someone mentioned, I wonder, and Scott was like, I wrote an article about that 2 years ago. So if you guys aren't reading everything that Scott Bregman of the Olympic Channel writes, you probably should, because he's excellent at his job. So I want, but I mean, she's here and she was able to do a practice and she was able to do bars and beam on the same day. So, and her skills don't look like they've changed. So I can't say anything really about her health, but she's here. Other people's recovery, Joss told us that she has just last week got all of her skills back that she had at Worlds. The people that were kind of taking it easy here, I mean, we don't know because it was the first. It wasn't a real workout.
Everyone, the workout you got to see, everyone's taking it easy.
And it's
because it was
February.
the first workout, and this is not a selection camp for anything. Right. This is not a verification scores you're getting. You're not being selected, even for the like Stuttgart or Jesolo. They're not picking that based on anything that's happening here.
Yep.
Correct.
Right. So, and they did say you can compete. So Jordan said she's competing at Winter Cup, and Jordan Chiles, and she's doing that. We confirmed that there are assignments that you can get at Winter Cup this time. Mm-hmm. And then there's some other assignments you can get at a later camp verification. But so Jordan didn't do the workout that we watched. So we were told she wasn't feeling well. So she did. We got our interviews the day before, but then that day we didn't see her. Nobody was really doing full routines. Like I said, just parts and then skills. I think Suni probably did the most of a full beam routine that we've seen out of anyone. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, so some people like Chiles was working on some basics, just, yeah.
And some layout Jaeger.
And a huge layout Jaeger. But like on beam, she did all her skills, but she just didn't do a lot of them. And then she has a new floor routine that she choreographed herself. So she was working on that. And then, yeah, her laid out Jaeger is gigantic. We'll have our clip of that on Friday, but it's huge. And then also she put a video up of her doing it at her gym, but it's huge. Like people, there's a lot of, there's basically like 3 of us who know gymnastics who are there. 4 of us. And like during the workout,
rank how much everyone knows about gymnastics? Right?
Yes, there was so much media. There was like way more than normal. So like those of us that know
an Olympic year,
those of us that know gymnastics were like glued to the workout. Like I can't look away. When can I go to the bathroom? Everyone else is just sort of sitting there bored, like waiting until they could do interviews. And we're like, no, this is the juice.
You might miss Chiles doing a layout Jaeger.
Right. And like when she did that, like the ones of us that knew gymnastics like gasped. We were like, oh, that was beautiful. And everyone else was like, wait, what happened? So anyway, just so you know what it's like in the media area, I was like, you fools. I have more to tell you, but I do want to give you some Gymcastic updates. So we have our new Gymcastic fantasy YouTube show where we tell you all the steals and deals. It's really quick. It's like under 10 minutes. Spencer's in 6th place now in fantasy, you guys, in our beta fantasy league.
So I'm the Olympic alternate.
Basically,
I'm 6th all around. I'm the alternate.
At least you're the traveling alternate right now. Congratulations.
Well, Olympics has like 3 traveling alternates, but thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm just there to support the team. I'm there. I will step in if they need me. I'm going to practice hitting 4 for 4, and I just want to support my sisters. And we're really all part of the team. And like I don't view myself as a lesser part of the team than Simone. We're all part of the team, and we're all contributing in the same way.
Oh, speaking of which, someone kept asking. I can't remember who it was, but they were asking, like, how does it feel to always be second? Like, to know that there's nothing you can do to beat Simone. People were like, how about don't be a dick? How about that? Yeah, I don't know who it was, but they did not make the athletes happy. They all came away from that like, what the fuck? So, I mean, there's other ways to phrase that. Anyway, So we also have a virtual live show pass. You get 4 live shows this year for the price of 3. It's a steal, and it's only on sale until our first live show starts. And it's only for Club Gym Nerds members. No one else can get access to this virtual ticket. And then if you want to upgrade it to in person, it's like $5 to upgrade it in person. So check that out. And then Fantasy League, we have weekly prizes. So last week, it felt like a year ago. The winner of the mini commission is Countless Tens because you were number 1. Countless Tens. And then week 5, our current so Countless Tens, email us in so you can cash in on your mini commission and make Spencer talk about Eurovision and how it relates to gymnastics for 10 minutes or whatever you want us to talk about for 10 minutes. Week 5, Tabby Douglas is the week 5 winner. And get this, Spencer, this is the most Gymcastic fantasy league winner ever because some people this weekend said that our fantasy league is too hard and it requires too many spreadsheets and too much brain power, so they gave up. So anyway, so Tabby Douglas.
I take that as a compliment.
Tabby Douglas so Amy, She competed. Remember, we had a cat naming contest, or like, what should you name our cat that has to do with gymnastics? Okay, it was a very important contest. She competed in this when she was in high school, and then she used the cat naming contest as the prompt for her college applications, her college essays.
Solid.
She got into an Ivy League school. Amy, you're welcome. I mean, your brain power is important, but also, like, I mean, how would people get into these Ivy Leagues without listening to Gymcastic? Like,
I know.
The work that we're doing around the world. I mean, Amy, I
haven't even given my college essay advice yet, which was like kind of a job for a second.
This is literally one of Spencer's many jobs where he allowed other people to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
So
I have a lot of thoughts about them. A lot of advice on college application essays.
Okay, so here are some other things. Let's go back to camp.
Okay, let's go back to camp. You mentioned Suni did a lot of beam, a little bit of bars. Also, yes. Deborah would like to say that Jessica's eyeliner is on point, and so everyone needs to know that. That is more important than Suni's bars, obviously.
Suni's eyeliner is always on point. But honestly, I don't know how these gymnasts do the things with the eyelashes that they have. Like, I would feel like I couldn't even open my eyes. They were so heavy. If they are talented and have strength in their eyelids, you guys.
If you've done college gymnastics, you can do gymnastics with the weight of so many jewels and ribbons and temp tattoos and makeup. Like, you basically have an entire 10-story building on your head at any one time as a college gymnast, so this is nothing.
Okay, so Suni, some of my favorite things. Suni, okay, when she went to bars, she did a lot of her packs, and then packs to Maloney combo. And then she did, it looks like what's probably going to be her second half, because normally she does jump to high bar, does some crazy ass, maybe her full twisting Jaeger is what she'll do. And then she did her pack, did a combo, and then sometimes a bahardwaj out of that first jump to high bar stuff. So,
but she didn't do the crazy stuff here.
She didn't do the crazy stuff here. She just did the what comes after the crazy. So she did pack Maloney, then her in-bar ginger, the piked in between the bars ginger, and then she did a toe full, so toe on pirouette, and then a full out dismount, which of course was utterly perfect. And literally, like, you'd never know she had any time off of gymnastics. Like, her form is perfect. Her energy is still there. It's crazy. Suni, also, I told you how she did a whole beam rotation, and it's so funny because like some of the coaches are complaining about how they spend so much time on artistry now at camp. Because remember when Chelsea first started and she was like, "You guys,
there is a checklist. Have you read it?
What are you doing? It's literally you're just giving 8/10 away. Like, pay yourself 8/10 for free. Hello." So anyway, she spent, and then so the coaches were complaining about how much time they spend. Like, they'll spend a whole rotation just on their side choreography. And literally, I swear to God, like most of the second rotation that Suni was on beam was spent with Betty Aquino working on her side choreography. And honestly, I can see why, because basically these gymnasts have grown up in a world where this wasn't a requirement. So like a lot of them, like, this is the biggest wobbles didn't come from their, aerial layout series. It came from turning sideways and trying to lean forward. Like, that was it for them. It was over. So anyway, her side choreography is obviously magic. But yeah, we saw her do a lot of her mount layout step outs, the aerial flip flop, front aerial, triple wolf turn, switch ring to split leap. So switch ring, split leap.
Okay. Yeah.
And then switch to immediate switch half to immediate ring jump, which is something she did before too. Yeah. She worked a lot on that, like getting her hips around on that switch half, because a switch half will,
because she's actually trying to do it beautifully and correctly and not fake it.
One of the few people in the world who should actually get credit for it. It was the first senior camp that the Olympic judges have been assigned for the U.S. Okay. So they know who's judging Olympic trials, is basically what I'm saying. And I don't know if this is related, but there was a new judge here at camp who hasn't been at the senior camp since she was the Olympic head coach, and that would be Amy Borman, was here judging. And it's interesting because some coaches are like, yeah, and athletes are like, yes, tell me everything. What do I need to do? Please stand here while I do my beam routine and help. And Suni was one of those. They were talking a lot, and Suni was like, okay, what do you think? Because I would be like, oh yeah, you're a brevet, you're judging Olympic trials. Yeah, tell me, like, what am I getting credit for? Like, who wouldn't want that kind of advice? So I enjoyed watching like their interactions. And then Suni also did like some tramp drills with Shy, just some like, and I love watching them do their basics because they're so perfect.
That would be a YouTube series I would watch.
Yes.
Suni and Shy do tramp drills.
Yes.
I would 100%. I would watch it.
And then, she only did 2 events, but in general, it was just good to see her there. And I asked Alicia Sacramone, like, how are you communicating with her about her health versus gymnastics? 'Cause I'm sure Marta didn't take you aside and was like, you have a long life to live. So make sure you can still enjoy your life later on after gymnastics. So she said, but Alicia said, yeah, I don't talk to her about gymnastics. That's how. And I was like, that's what we like to hear. Told you about Simone's vault, and how she did some Biles on the ski floor. Basically, she did the absolute minimum. She did. Okay, this is the best part, though, you guys. So she has
the absolute minimum, meaning like an Amanar.
Yeah.
And like the beam that won the world championship gold medal, like the minimum.
The minimum. So she did it's basically the same beam routine. So she does the switch mount to switch half to back pike. She does her wolf turn. It's like the same. I mean, she has it down, which is do the absolute minimum of everything to get the least deductions beam routine. But she, the best part is she has this new choreography. I'm going to try to show it to you. We'll have a video of it later. We just don't have time to like edit everything. But so at first it looks like she is like pounding on a door, but pounding on 3, like the top of the door, the middle of the door, the bottom of the door. But she
hammering in 3 nails.
Hammering
like
3
in the back
nails.
of her IKEA bookshelf.
Yes.
To make sure that back stays on. Yeah.
She's like, let me in. Or is she hammering for justice? Or then she could not stop laughing, and her and Cecile kept telling her, do it like this, and she kept laughing more. So then the last time she went up on beam, she started doing like hammer, and then her fist would open at the end. So I was like, Cecile, is that dice? Is she like throwing the dice? Like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Right? But she was like, well, I don't know, because she can't stop laughing when she's doing it. But she took out the like where she puts a picture frame around her from her side choreography. But I like that she added in like whatever that means. And I my favorite thing is to make up elaborate backstories for any kind of choreography. So I think you guys were going to need a contest where we make it an elaborate backstory for this choreography.
Maybe it's like first Olympics done, second Olympics done, third Olympics open hand, because we haven't done it yet.
Oh, maybe it's Rio, Tokyo. Meh, we'll see.
No, it's Rio, Tokyo. It's gonna go great, and here it is, like open hand presenting.
Oh, present, and like, you're
welcome to my third Olympics.
I like that. Oh, that's good. That's very good. Okay, so Chiles Jones, another member of the world team, the last 2 world teams, was there. She, we talked about her laid out Jaeger, which is freaking huge. She did it twice.
Do we know where it's going in the routine or composition-y? But
no, she did it totally standalone. Like it's none of your business where this goes. I'm just gonna do this.
She did post a video where it was before the Downey.
Yeah, in the blue Leo. Yeah.
You're saying things that are not helpful.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Recall what we're talking about.
The one video she posted of it, she's wearing a blue Leo, by the way, Spencer.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so value-wise, if that's just replacing like maybe a D pirouette or something, then she's looking at going up 2/10, so like 6'4" to 6'6", which is getting up there. Yeah. If that's just an addition rather than, but we'll see how it fits into the connection bonuses and all that.
Yeah. She is doing a new floor routine, and she choreographed it herself, which she said is something she's wanted to do. So I did see like some parts of it, and I have to say the beginning of it is very eye-catching. Like it's basically like she's traversing all the split positions with like her beautiful, long, elegant arms, and it's definitely going to be like people are going to notice this. You know, it stands out from the usual like bam, bam, tumble kind of start.
Stands out from the usual wrist.
Oh my God, the wrist, you guys. Oh, we need to get on this wrist fixing situation.
Every single floor routine theme is fighting the wrist monster.
That's what it should be.
I'm a vampire fighting the wrist monster. I'm also a vampire fighting the wrist monster.
So I'm excited to see this routine. It's a lot of like, you know, what she does so beautifully, arabesque positions and her using her long arms to, you want me to extend for the artistry checklist? Oh, here it comes. You're welcome. Yes, my arms are longer than anyone in the whole world.
Is that what, did we do a lot of like imagine your arm is being pulled away from you in space to get your extension for your artistry production? Is everyone doing that?
Which, speaking of which, you guys, I cannot say enough about Caitlin Jong's transformation as an artistic gymnast. Like, Caitlin Jong's always like, you know, she's good. She's good. She has a full-on beam. She has some badass tumbling. She has a syllabus, all that stuff. But like, she had a little bit of that, like, I'm a stick figure doing gymnastics still. Like, you can tell she had been coached to do the things, but she couldn't do it. She's not Brooklyn Moors, right? I literally said to Scott Bregman, I was like, that's Caitlin Jong, right? That's her face, but that's her body is not matching her face. Like, use my binoculars, make sure this is actually Caitlin Jong, right? The transformation, you guys, the use of extension and concave chest to extended chest, like my God, I was like, Betty, what did you do? This is magic. I have never seen a transformation like that so fast with a gymnast. I mean, think how long people have worked with Jade Carey. It's never taken. It's better, but it's not. I was just blown away, you guys. Wait till you see Caitlin Jong's just expressiveness, and I hope it translates. And she doesn't get like nervous in competition. I'm building it up, and then you're like, what? But I just can't say enough good things. And
I mean, I'm ready to be like, what? No matter what you say. So.
I love it. Gymnastics fan has a question.
Thoughts on Shai stating in her interview that she isn't talking about college at this time, but has big plans?
Yeah, she has big plans. That's all I can say. She's talked about opening a gym before. And Margarita Fells says, I noticed the wrist so much now. Thank you, Gymcastic.
We're here to serve. We're here to ruin your life. That is the real slogan.
If your fingers are pointing at your arm, you're doing it wrong. That's all you guys need to know. Chiles, it's private what she's doing, but yeah, I think that she is taking all the advantages of the upcoming Olympic year, and it's pretty cool, the stuff that she's doing. So yeah. And also I just think, I mean, there's only so long that colleges can keep scholarships for you if they don't have the NIL collective who will just be like, we'll bankroll you, don't worry. I did ask but I asked who's going to LSU? Zoe. I asked Zoe Miller, so what happens when you sign at LSU? Like, does a truck go past your house with like a banner, a plane flies over, like fire? She's like, nothing. You just sign it. That's all that happened. I just imagine they like.
You're so weird.
Well, Jay Clark's known for like wearing a T-shirt that says like, Georgia wants your name, and he has like the name printed for each gymnast, so it makes people feel like very, which makes some gymnasts laugh out loud. I'm like, I'm never going to this school if this dude is wearing a shirt that says Georgia wants XYZ. So I wondered
and this would have been back when he was at Georgia.
Yes. I don't know if he still does the T-shirt. Yeah, not now. He's at LSU head coach. When he was at Georgia, that was one of his.
How about you think about Georgia?
Don't come here. We don't want you. Go to the other school.
All right. So, Gymnastics fan asks, is Kayla there? How does she look?
Yes. DiCello was there. DiCello is one of the ones that I think looked very good. Like she looked really good. We asked her about why she chose to go back to Hills instead of training like Leanne Wong does at Florida. And she was like, I need the environment. I need people to push me. And it's like, Florida is just a different environment and you have to be more in charge of yourself. And she's like, I just need that environment. I need someone on me telling me what to do. Like, getting it done. And I was like, yeah, because Leanne, I was joking with her. I was like, yeah, Leanne probably writes her whole workout a year in advance and needs no one to coach her or tell her what to do at all. So she kind of laughed at that. But yeah, so she looks very good, I would say. And I also saw for the first time, she has that, that like laser back warmer thing that they wear. It's like a big strappy black back brace that looks like a construction worker, but it has little laser circles on the back. She had that on her Achilles. I hadn't seen the Achilles lower leg version, but I was like, oh, this is great. Like, of course they make it for that. I'm sure they have one for your neck and your wrists if you're breaking them all the time by doing your wrists wrong. So yeah, it's nice to see the college we see much more, I feel like, technology regularly being used in college, and we don't always see it unless people post about it in elite in the US. So it was nice to see that. Krabby Megan says.
Krabby Megan asks, how about Kalia and Nola, champions of my heart?
You guys, let me just tell you, my Olympic team right now is
oh no, Jessica.
Yes.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
My Olympic team is Gabby Douglas, obviously one Simone Biles.
Okay.
And then if Suni can win 2 events, because we did, or be second on 2 events, Suni, that's all she needs. And I did ask Chelsea about this. Like, can you be specific? Very specific. And she was like, if we take a event specialist, they're going to have to be the best or right there. And I was like, so second. And she was like, I can't. She was giving me the Jessica. Yeah. I can't make a promise to you that we'll take Suni if she's first or second on there. Yes, thank you, Kensley. Kensley, like, bookmark this moment. Yeah. So so Suni.
Chelsea seemed at least open to the idea if it's Suni.
Yeah, Alicia and Sacramona did. Alicia and Chelsea didn't say there's no way we're taking a event specialist. They did say it's going to be really hard because our depth of all-arounders is so very, very deep. So my Olympic team is Gabby Douglas, Simone Biles, Suni, if she's first on 2 events, because I don't even know if that's like her, she's second. And then it's Kalia Lincoln and Chiles Jones. And my locks right now are Simone and Chiles.
All right.
Yeah. Those are my locks.
I don't think you've gone out on a super limb with this team.
No, because also
I expected you to be like, it's going to be Yelena Protonova.
Also, I think it's important because let's be honest. They're building an Olympic team around Simone, right? This is what's happening. But you also need to learn from the lessons of all the years that they've built teams, like going back to 2023 or 2003, not 2023, 2003.
I mean, also going back to 2023, that just wasn't very long ago.
Where they used all the alternates. So you got to build around what your final picture is going to be and build it to win, not to we can get away with this. We don't have to try that hard. So if you're looking at that, Simone and Chiles are the ones that are the strongest all-arounders. They're the 2 that make every single event final. You can plug them in anywhere, they're fine. So if anything happened to either Simone or Chiles, who do you plug into those spots? Suni and Gabby have very complementary skill sets in terms of bars and beam, but Gabby can also vault. So we have to see about her floor, but I think she's going to set herself up as an all-arounder. She's not someone that's not going to try to do everything. And then Kalia Lincoln, you guys, looks even better than before. She's had her shoulders feeling much better. You guys, I cannot express to you. This is why you have to go see gymnastics in person. The videos of her do not do justice. If you love Gabby Douglas's gymnastics, if that was where you were just like, oh my God, this is everything I wanted, the oversplits, the height, the dynamic, good, yeah. Yes, that. The dynamic. Her just leaps and her tumbling are so freaking beautiful. And we know she made, how many did she make, Spencer? She was on for, if they would have taken her in 2023 on the world team.
Oh yeah. 5 of the 6 highest scoring teams.
5 of the 6 highest scoring teams she was on.
I'm not gonna if we know anything about me, it's that I'm not going to let that one go.
Ever.
Right.
So, and I did ask,
Megan M is also giving Jessica credit for actually keeping it to 5 for your Olympic team, which is the correct number of, athletes.
Yes. And this is the team with only seeing half of their workout. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't need to see
you didn't
everything.
really go on a limb, except for maybe like we haven't seen Gabby compete yet.
Right. But obviously it's Gabby Douglas, you guys. She's going to be absolutely stunningly beautiful. Harrison says,
Spencer, do you see a team with Shy, Gabby, and Suni? It seems like a lot of bars. Gabby would have to have a countable top 3 floor score and a big Yurchenko double full, and then I can see it. They're definitely not doing a team with Suni and Gabby where they're both like bars and beams specializing, and maybe I have a vault and floor, or maybe I have like a 5 OD score on floor. I don't think they're going to do it. I would do it. I don't think they're going to do it. I think it hinges so much on Gabby having team final usable vault and floor for that team. And whether right or wrong, if there's one, like if Suni and Gabby are both bars and beam predominantly, and there's one, it's going to be Suni. So I think, unfortunately, not necessarily right, Gabby has the onus of having to prove herself more. Because this lie that she was on the 2016 team undeservedly, which once again is not true. She earned it with her scores. It has taken hold, not just among certain fans, but in like USA Gymnastics. There is a belief that Gabby did not deserve a spot in the 2016 Olympic team, which is a lie. And I think it informs a lot of what people think about her on this team now. So she's going to have to work extra hard and be extra valuable to make a team, sadly.
Sadly, because she earned her right on the other team. I did not get to see a lot of Joss, but I want to talk about the people I think fit into this is like Joss, Leanne, Wong, and DiCello. Definitely, I'm seeing them fitting in. I haven't seen enough of Jade's elite to know where she's come from last year to, because she had inconsistency problems. Joss did like some timers on vault, nothing. I just didn't see a lot from her. And Leanne Wong, of course, she's got those like the E score, don't do too much thing down, but DiCello looks really good too. So we'll have to see. Those three might also make the perfect combination of your bars and floors power backup team too that you can plug in anyway. So anywhere.
Compositionally, so we learned the memo is, and we've learned it from Simone's beam last year, which is like just do the minimum that you can do to get a high D score. And we learned that at the last Olympics, Suni taking out skills, Jade taking out skills, and that was they improved their score. So did anyone you feel like got the memo in that regard?
Yes. And I felt encouraged by some of the things I've seen. And also Chelsea Memel had feedback on this specifically, which let's listen to her.
I am encouraged. From when I started from like my first camp, oh gosh, it's been a while now. I can't just say I just started last year. It's really improved. I think everyone has taken like that assignment to improve their artistry very seriously. And I have seen huge growth in all of the athletes. And I continue to see it. They're continuing to work on it. I don't think they're just getting like complacent in where they are right now. They're continuing to work and improve on it. So I'm happy.
Yeah, a lot of people were coming in saying they have completely new floor routines.
Yeah, it's really fun, especially like January camp, because a lot of them debuted their new routines, and I was like, this is great.
And that was Emily Giambalvo from the Washington Post asking her that question. And Emily also was a gymnast, did Yurchenko's. No, she's the one that did those awesome graphics about like why, like how did they pick the puzzle for the world team and the D scores and the ranking. And oh my God, Emily's great. She's one of the gaspers, just so you know, from, watching Chiles' Jaeger. She's one of the ones that knows gymnastics. So yeah, I feel like everyone learned a lot. there's definitely an improvement. You can definitely see it paying off. I asked a lot of people about, like, were you here in the camp when Donatella, the women's technical committee head, the head judge of the world, was here? And because I know that, like, we heard that she went off about to the administration, not the gymnast, that she was very kind, and all the gymnasts really appreciated her and said she was really lovely. But I was interested to see what they said, and a lot of them were just like, oh yeah, she talked about artistry, and some other things from camp is, of course, Spencer, we have been talking, and me and Kensley have been talking about where the hell are the Olympic procedures? They had to have already been due. Why don't we know how people are going to make the Olympic trials, and who makes the Olympic team? Like, where are these?
Good question.
So I asked Chelsea and Alicia about this. So let's watch the answer from Alicia.
I asked hi. I asked Chelsea the same thing, so I'm not trying to get different answers. I just want to know your answer.
Sure.
About the Olympic criteria and the selection procedure, and also the Olympic trials who can go procedure. It's not out yet. Do you guys know, like, an actual date that you're gonna have it done? Is there like a due date for the USOPC?
Yes, we've already passed the due date, but I think we have to submit all of our procedures, and they have to get approved, and then they have to go to the USOPC. So our version of it that we felt comfortable with as the athlete selection committee was done and submitted, and then there's like a few minor tweaks about like verbiage, and so it has been submitted to the USOPC. So I'm not sure when that actual date would be.
Do you feel like, I know you guys are working really hard to not have the past things repeat themselves with Olympic selection. Like, I know how important, especially to both of you, that is. Could your coaches have made, like, would Mihai have lost his mind if you didn't have Olympic selection procedure right now? Like, can you make your plan as an athlete?
Honestly, I didn't think about the Olympic selection procedure at all as an athlete. In my mind, I was like, if I go and I win my 2 or 3 events, like, I should be good. Like, and that's how I thought of it. And I'm sure other coaches are probably beside themselves, being like, I need to know what I need or can do if something comes up and I can't compete at championships. Well, how can I get to Olympic trials? Yeah, it's probably extremely frustrating for them, but I'm sure they'll be out soon. Again, it's like above my pay grade, but I know our final draft had been submitted, so hopefully soon.
Yeah. So it's interesting that, like, they did meet their deadline. They sent it to the USOPC.
Which is our standards. I'm like, USAG, did you turn in your homework on time?
It's like, we did our homework.
But I didn't need it. We did our homework.
So I think that was good to hear that, like, they did what they were supposed to do, but the USAPC was like, that you need to fix this stuff. And that, that's not, they've done their part, I think. So that was good to know. And I'm sure Mihai would be losing his mind, which I was hoping for an impression.
Like, I didn't think about that. That was not my that was not my responsibility.
She is not the Morgan Hurd.
She competed in the Marta era where everyone knew it's just going to be what Marta wants, like whatever she thinks. So like procedure felt like a joke. Like, you have to do this, but like, why even write anything down?
Yeah, basically. I have a few more stories to tell you guys when we get to our behind the scenes section for Club Gym Nerd members, but I want to touch on some college news because Spencer has to fill me in because I have been here. So Spencer, tell me everything that happened.
Okay, so we talked about, just a quick update. We'll get back to the normal next week, but we had camp to talk about. So we talked about LSU setting the program record, 198.475, after KJ Johnson basically broke the vault, is what happened. what I've decided happened, because everything was going swimmingly, normal LSU homemate. KJ Johnson leads off on vault, she vaults. Then Aaliyah Finnegan's waiting, and then she's waiting, and then she's waiting, and she's waiting, and we see Garrett by the vault, and then we see Jay by the vault, and then we see the like guys with wrenches by the vault, and you're like, uh-oh. When it was coaches, it was okay, but now we've got guys with wrenches. So there was something, I think it couldn't tighten. They were adjusting the vault and the tightening thing, which is always, I think, what breaks and what's a problem. Couldn't tighten, so it wouldn't have been safe necessarily for her to go. So good, stop, fix. they did it, but it gave everyone Sydney PTSD as always. Anytime there are like a group of workers around the vault, like something's gone wrong, we have to cancel it. Also, but I just love the idea that I wasn't watching the meet at that point because there were like 9 things going on, but all I heard was KJ Johnson broke everything when she vaulted, and I imagine just like a fast car and explosions and just like KJ Johnson broke the meet. There's so many options there.
Oh my god, I love you've made it. Your power level is correct if you can break the vault. Very proud of her.
Yeah, it's very important.
So this is a home meet. Yeah.
Yeah, it was obviously a home meet. But yes, LSU got some scores. I think they showed that, if you're a judge and you're giving people with flex feet and short splits 9-9s, then yeah, you have to give Connor like an 11. You have to give Haley Bryant an 11. And then that's how the score gets this high. And everything's a 9-9-7-5 because, if you don't take the deductions when they exist, then there's nothing to take when they don't.
I'm fine with Connor getting an 11 every time.
But she has broken college code because she's like, yeah, I don't have those deductions in my routine.
Yeah. So her technique is freaking perfect and her gymnastics has been perfect since she was like 12. How did Oklahoma do? Are they in first or did LSU move in first?
Oklahoma's in first, but they got a 10th lower than LSU. So, they only got a 198.375. So something's wrong. They only tied the NCAA bars record of all time with a 49.825, tying themselves and Cal and UCLA, who have all done it before. 49.825. Audrey Davis got a 9.975.
Okay, that's correct.
So I know that's always been your feeling about Audrey Davis's bars, because from one side of the judges you're going to see the dismount stagger, and from the other side you aren't. So you're like, one should give it a 10 and one should give it a 9.95.
Her routine is so perfect that by these standards she should only get a 1/4 deduction. So I'm okay with that, even though no one should be giving her a 10. But anyway.
They gave Jordan Bowers a 10 right after that, though.
Oh, well, obviously, because what are you going to do? That's why they're putting Jordan Bowers up last. So she'll always get a 10 after Audrey Davis does Ukrainian bars. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing about bars, though. So the bars record, 49.825, with Oklahoma just tied again, is the lowest of the 4 events. Is that surprising to you? But the bars record would be the lowest.
No, because I feel like bars is the easiest to judge the angles, and vault is the one that I think is the worst scoring, because no one looks after people hit the board. They don't look again until they leave the vault, and that's the problem with the vault judging.
They don't look until they've left the vault.
Until they left the vault on the other side. Yeah. That's what I mean. Not when they hit it. Okay. When they take off the other side. So yeah. Yeah. So no, that's not very surprising to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so what's happening with the 10 hunt? Because is Miley getting close now? Does she have like the 700s 10?
She got another one. So that's her 13th. I mean, she's only getting 10s on beam, so you can't rack them up as quickly. She's racking them up pretty quickly. She tied the Utah 10s record. Question about this. Okay, so this is Miley's 3rd 10 on beam this season. She also has a fall. Is it possible for the concept of a 10 to retain its special if someone can get it every single week? Like Miley on beam when she doesn't wobble or doesn't fall? Or is that just, it's an appropriate reward appropriate for a great routine? It's
appropriate because her routine is 10 worthy. And because it's so exciting to see now, can she break the consecutive 10 record? That's super exciting. And it's not one of those routines where that gets a 10 and you're like, are you kidding me with this? Like
she's not like,
it's not
phoning
cheating.
It in difficulty wise.
Not by her. I'm talking about the judges that are told not to judge by the actual rules. Yes. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm okay with that. I think it's really exciting.
I feel like it kind of
like Spencer.
All right, remember the show is
sorry.
Oh, she got
oops. What are you doing? What is happening?
I meant to say Spencer.
I reject the question. Yeah, I reject the question.
Sound
fine. I reject the question. Also, Miley's routine is great. You can find deductions on that routine. I have no trouble finding deductions. It's just comparatively, they're not taking them. You can find flex feet on that side aerial. She's not in releve on that full turn.
That's why you're not supposed to look at the scores, Spencer. I told you.
There are things you can take. So I feel
why
like first
I
of all,
reject the question.
It doesn't have to be a 10. Like, it doesn't have to be a 10 every week. You don't have to give this routine a 10 every week because you can find things. And I think if a routine can get a 10 every single time, then a 10 stops being special.
Well, I hear your feelings, Spencer, but
that's why we need to be more critical so you're not getting a 10 every time. Even when you're one of the top, very, very top beam routines being done in college, can still have deductions in it. They all do.
Oh, the flex feet. All right, you guys, I will watch the routine again more closely and very specifically. Deborah says,
do you think Jade will do vault or floor at all this season, maybe even as a trial run? So she vaulted once, right?
Yeah, I think she will.
She vaulted once. I think it's like not mostly, but maybe as needed at the end. She could throw it in. But it seems like on those events, the priority is working on her elite routines.
Yeah. And I think it's just smart. It's February. Like,
you've got to manage.
You have to manage the pounding. You don't want to do it. Like, she's doing all the stuff, I'm sure, but she's doing it on ski floor and whatever. Like, she's not on tumble track, like minimal stuff, like probably no hard landings at all. Yeah. So, we don't hear about any injuries that she's had, but there's just no way you can go that hard in elite for that long without a break and not have something. So I think it's just really smart to manage her body with waiting, but I think she'll do it. What else did I miss? The highlights of college this week.
Haley Bryant got another 10 on floor, obviously. Extended her all-around ranking lead. You would have enjoyed this. So Luisa Blanco on beam got a perfect grab, 9-7 from one judge. So she grabbed the beam, which is 3/10. And one judge gave her a 9-7. And so if you had, seen everything, we would have talked about it.
Yeah, that's not possible. You have to have the reason why you had to grab the beam, and then yes.
But what if you land your layout step up perfectly, and then you're working out of it, and you have a giant wobble and grab the beam?
Yeah, then there's the wobble deduction. You could take as little as
wobble
half
is the 0.3 is now the wobble.
When you touch the beam, it's 0.3. You have to take the part that comes before it. The reason. Like when you fall, it's not just a half a point for falling. It's
according to the graphic at the LSU meet, it's 0.5 minimumu, which just texted me because they had a graphic where they said 0.5 minimum.
I was like, did I write this? Look at that. I feel seen. Oh, okay. Is there anything else? This is my big question. Did anyone
hit in the face? Oh, she got hit in the face.
She got hit in the face. We've got to work with the sound effects and have some sort of intervention or something about these sound effects. I didn't see anyone get high-fived in the face.
That's unfortunate. But at least I have a sound bite for every time that happens now. Thank you, Janae Honest, who then laughs. Oh, she got hit in the face and laughed. Karen Buck says,
MSU beat Michigan. Another update. Big deal if you care about sports rivalries and things like that. But also Michigan State got a 198.
That's the second time they've beaten them, right? I don't know, like in history, but in recent.
More, but they won the dual meet last year. This was like the first time that MSU had won at Michigan in like 24 years, something like that. It had been a long time.
I meant like in the new era of Michigan.
In the new era, yes. Michigan State won the dual meet between them last year, which was at Michigan State.
Yeah.
And then Olivia Karras on the broadcast when they were talking about that was like, but Michigan won at Big Tens. It was like, once a Michigan, always a Michigan. She was like, don't forget that.
Oh,
UCLA got a 198.
I saw that their Pride Leo it's like a what is it called?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a mosaic. Is it a mosaic?
Well, it looked
stained glass
windowy, mosaic-y, yeah.
I like that it's sort of church inspired stained glass window Pride Leo.
The Pac-12 network acknowledged that it was a Pride meet. This was progress.
That's huge.
Jim said the word pride and didn't immediately burst into flames. It was great.
Like, you can do this. I think I shout out to everyone, especially Hypo, who's always been like, you guys acknowledge this. I mean, we did spend a long time on it one episode where I was like, and I did ask Sam, I was just like, what's up with this? And she was like, they just don't, we never talk about the things. And I'm like, well, you should, because it looks bad. So yay. I'm very glad that this changed. And look at that. It got on ESPN. So also while we were flying here, there was some other highlight, like Miley's beam or something was on the ESPN countdowns and like with the sports balls.
Sure. Good for her. No, it's good. That wasn't that what I mean. What's hard sometimes to determine when I'm being genuine or when I'm sarcastic, because everything's a little sarcastic because we're talking about college gymnastics and it's all not real. It's all, but good, legitimately good for Miley in a serious way.
Yes.
Okay, can I talk about my current frustration? I don't
Please.
need to ask that question because that's all we do on this show.
Please do.
So, I have a problem with how the lines on vault are being utilized in college judging, because I think it's being treated like an out of bounds, like an on-off switch for direction deduction, which is not what it's supposed to be.
Oh.
And that is annoying me, because you can be within those lines and still get a direction deduction, or should. And I feel like that's not, we saw multiple situations this weekend where that's not being taken. Like, that's just the line is there so that the judges can see how far deviated from center you are, not so that they can judge whether you're inbounds or out of bounds.
Yeah, it's not like men's. Men's has that and women's does not.
But you can be within the line on college vault and still get like an 0.5 direction deduction, but they're not doing that anymore. So I want, and then I'm not the first person to say that, but I want the elite center line as well. So then you can really emphasize that, oh, your both feet have landed to one side of this line. That's a direction deduction.
Yeah.
That is what I would like to say.
Okay. Very good. We do have a little bit of
my soapbox of the week.
A little bit of Gym Internet news. We have so 2 Utah gymnasts, Kara Aker and Tessin. They testified in front of there's
a coaching be better bill in Utah, like don't be the worst as a coach, that they gave testimony. And then there was an article also about this that said the language was very specific, saying like attorneys working with Aker and Tessin and other gymnasts say they're working with the university to compensate the athletes. So that I don't know exactly what that means. Like, that sounds like very specifically like you're saying they're not suing the university, but also are they? I don't know. They definitely didn't say that.
It sounded very much like that's usually how it works, or you get some settlement, but I would expect
there's something going on, but we don't know what the system is that the attorneys are working on with the university.
Exactly. Okay. Also, I have a question for you guys, and this is all credit to Kensley. And if you're not following her, at Neutral Deductions and all her great graphics, it's like she can fully blossom now as all the things as with her man love that she's always wanted to give. Now she can
man
do
love.
Gymnastics.
She doesn't have to talk to you about men's, so it's growing, it's blossoming.
Go hard. So basically, all right, you guys, I need to know from you: is this uncouth, or cheating, or hilarious? Those are your only options.
Got it.
All right. There was a meet where one team when the other team competed, they would play really loud Christmas music. And then like Alvin and the Chipmunks. And then when someone was about to dismount, they would have like a record scratch or some kind of like very obnoxious noise. Is that, I'm not even going to mention dangerous. I'm leaving that.
You're not?
I'm not going to mention that. Your only options are, is that hilarious or cheating, or is it not gymnastics culture? This was a college meet, obviously. We only got another one bites the dust at Worlds, which people are very offended by when people fell. I thought it was funny, but
that's great. Can I pull a full Jessica on this question and answer yes to all 3 options?
Okay.
Is it hilarious? Yes. Is it? What were the other choices?
Is it uncouth or not gymnastics culture?
Not gymnastics. Yeah, all of them, and it's great.
Yeah, I can see because you're as a coach, your job is to like make a big deal and like be like, this team's terrible and bad, and look, our team would never do that. And so, like, if I was the coach, I might be like, rah! Or
if I were the opposing coach, I would have made such a big deal about it. I would have been so annoying about it.
Or I would be like, you guys, do we all know these songs? Let's clap along and like totally get into it and like embrace it so much that you're like, oh, it's backfiring. You can't get us. We're going to sing Alvin and the Chipmunks and dance and like link arms and do a little. Yeah. That's maybe what I would do.
I mean, if you are distracted by that, that's still on you because you should be prepared for distractions at a meet.
Right. So this is the thing. I mean, we see what the women's teams do when they literally have, the pool noodles. A pool noodle, Spencer, not a noodle. When everyone's laying under the beam, around the beam, screaming, yelling, waving things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Basically embarrassing the entire sport of golf. So, yes. Did you see that the Italian Federation said they are changing the rules to have an older demographic now?
I didn't understand exactly what we were saying here. I saw that we were talking about this, and I didn't know whether this was official or what.
So it's not official yet. What it seems like they're proposing that next quad, you have to be 18, and they're changing it. They're like spreading it out over 2 quads, but eventually it's going to be, you have to be 18 to compete. I think that we heard about this maybe being something that was discussed for the Italian Federation during Worlds, that they were going to do this. And, the Italian Federation has Donatella, and I feel like they know things first are coming down. And I assumed that the IOC was going to do this after what happened to the figure skaters with the doping and how like upsetting that was to watch on TV, like teenagers breaking down, because also not just teenagers, like anyone would, it was just awful. But they don't like it, especially when it's girls who look upset because, the girls aren't allowed to look upset. How dare you have emotions? Crying is the worst thing anyone can see on TV. I've expected them to bring a rule change about age. And I was looking it up the other day about what is the generally accepted rule of majority, I think it's called, in the world, which is like when you're an actual adult. And it is pretty much 18 is pretty universal. Some places it's 16 to 20, but 18 is, I think, what is mostly used. So, I mean, what do you think if they do this? Will it change anything?
I mean, you can't expect that to just be like, the culture is fixed. We changed the age. But I think we're certainly moving toward that direction. And I would not nearly be as against it as I would have when I was like 18. And I was like, I think that's very common, where I was like, absolutely, they can't. That's horrible. If you could drive a car, you can compete as an elite gymnast. And now I'm like, these children. Go to algebra. Don't go to the Olympics.
Go to algebra. Oh my God. Okay.
Is there some feedback you want to do, or is there more news?
Yes, but I wanted to mention one thing. So I forgot to talk about how when we were talking about who can compete in the U.S. and the whole like dual citizen thing, and how like were they going to let because they decided not to let Melanie compete at Classic,
right?
And anyway, I forgot that Simone is also a dual citizen. So obviously, but she's chosen to compete for the U.S. and not for Belize. But that is one thing.
Yeah, so that has nothing to do with anything.
I'm just saying it's an important person that we left out who's a dual citizen who's always been competing. So
yes.
Wait, what happened in the UK that we haven't talked about?
Or is this University of Kentucky?
Oh, Kentucky. What happened at Kentucky?
Or is this the United Kingdom? I don't know.
Denver got a 198.
Denver got a 198. Okay, so this is the thing that I think you will enjoy. Denver and Michigan State both got their first 198s in program history at the same time on March 5th, 2023, and both got their second 198s in program history at the same time, February 4th, 2024. 2 198s, same days, only ones in history, 2 different programs in different places.
Oh, interesting.
It's just nothing, but I thought you would enjoy it.
Yes, I do. I enjoy that very much.
I assume that you're going to have some sort
Alabama.
of like Denver and Michigan State, like you can't, kind of thing, like you can't win a championship with a second head coach, like Denver and Michigan State can't get a 198 unless the other one also wins.
I
Like,
didn't
they
make
have
up the curse, Spencer. It's not from me. One of our listeners created the curse.
Yeah, but
curses exist. I'm not in control of them.
You have propped up the systems in which we keep talking about this, rather than looking internally and seeing what you can do to stop it.
Oh, I haven't anti-racism my curses internally yet. Okay.
You haven't anti-curses.
All right, we have a letter. Let's talk about this one. And then if you guys have questions for us, we have a couple minutes to get to questions from you guys. So, blocked judge.
This is from a collegiate judge just trying to hold it together like everyone else. I understand. Thank you so much for talking about the judge's view on your January 30th podcast. This literally happened to me as a judge last season. The coach was standing on the landing mats to spot a bars dismount. I could not see the landing of the gymnast. I did not take a deduction because what am I supposed to put on a routine summary? Could not see the gymnast, but based on the positioning in the air, she either landed with her chest down and took a step. That's what I would have done. The coaches would come after me with pitchforks and torches. I knew my score was too high, but I cannot take deductions I do not physically see. The solution would be to have more judges in various positions around the apparatus like they do in the postseason, so the low and high get thrown out.
So this is when we're talking about Owen's butt rule, where if the coach is standing
spotting
in the way,
bars and his butt is in the way, and a judge definitely couldn't see a hop on the dismount.
Right. That's a problem, you guys. But you can't do anything about it because if you allow, unless you have a camera for the judge that is at a different angle, which is super easy to do, it would cost you $20 to do this. Get a tiny little webcam, put it right at the foot level, put it at the end of it's so easy to do. It wouldn't even have to affect anything. I mean, you guys, this can be done.
That is the future of judging. Like, you have to be able to judge both the video and the routine you're looking at the same time.
Yeah. And then no one
and know that like, oh, I'm not going to be able to see this dismount, so I need to watch the dismount from the video feed.
Yeah. We have a very important question about watching College of Cocktails later and the high school code.
Okay. Jennifer says, love, love, love you all. Thank you for what you do. Is it correct that if I miss the live College and Cocktails, I can only listen on the podcast? No way to rewatch the video?
No. You can listen. You can listen to every single, the only thing we don't have a podcast of is the fantasy gymnastics update, which I need to start and make it into a podcast. But no, you can always go. You can actually, we have a special feed just for you, especially for a Club Gym Nerd member, because that's
the question of the video.
Oh, rewatch
the video.
Oh yeah, you can rewatch it. It's always on the website. It's embedded.
The College and Cocktails episode page on the website.
Yeah, you just have to be logged in. When you log in, it appears. If you're not logged in, it doesn't show up. Sorry. I was thinking about the answer to the second part of this question already. Okay,
I'll ask you now. Do you have any resources or places you can point me to for high school information, Minnesota? It's been hard to get accurate information on what a vault start value is or deductions as I watch and cheer on my amazing niece as examples. Keep up the great work. I always look forward to listening, learning, and laughing.
Listen, learn, and laugh. That's us. You go to so it's all different for each high school, and sometimes they'll let you use like Excel's code, or they'll let you use compulsories, or it depends on your high school system. So I would go look up your local gymnastics judging association and ask them. They can point you to who exactly you need to go to get it, because there isn't a universal high school code that you can use, as far as I know. Do you guys have final questions for us before we wrap up, and then I have to quick edit this, post it, and get it, and then quick get to another city and hope there's no traffic and get on a plane?
Sounds awful.
Yeah, this is why Spencer stays home, and
among the reasons.
We'll have lots of videos and more interviews posted for you guys from camp. So let me know if you have more questions. I'm trying to think if there's any other stories that I wanted to tell you guys that I didn't tell you. I'm going back to my other notes that are hilarious Jorge.
Speaking of dual citizens, Zoe Miller saying that if she were to continue elite during or after NCAA, she would do it for Jamaica or Trinidad, her parents' home countries.
Yeah, she said that she got citizenship for both. So that she said maybe she has given herself that option if she wants to do it after college. But she seemed also like she wanted to burn everything down.
Well, that happens. It's a process.
Yeah. But I feel like Trinidad and Tobago is building up their arsenal of gymnasts. Like slowly more and more people are Jamaica. I mean, like I feel like there's a plan in place there. Gymnastics fan.
Does camp continue this week?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the day you went to was like the beginning.
Yeah, they're doing some verifications. Like this is when they're all doing all the real gymnastics after all the media left.
Yeah, get out of here.
That's what's happening.
That's why we were like, when there was that first page about on the Flip Now that they were going to stream it, we were like, I mean, great, but they're going to stream what? They're going to stream like people doing physical abilities testing and like a skill.
Exactly. I was like,
But yes, the conversation we had before that we kept getting distracted from was that the University of Kentucky defeated Alabama at Alabama. Parity in the conference, you guys. Parity in the SEC.
I know. So are they ranked like in the where's Kentucky?
Kentucky's still they were third, now they're fifth. Because they only got a 197.6, so they dropped 2 spots in the rankings.
Man, I feel like I should have put like Kentucky and Alabama in my envelope, my sealed envelope.
You've given it away that you didn't.
No. Oh yeah, that's right. I just gave it away. Oh, also, did I tell you guys that Chiles has a new dog? She has a husky already, which I don't know if you guys know about huskies, but you basically have to run them for hours or they will destroy your house. And she got another husky, which her coach was like, "Are you kidding me? This is so much work and you're never home. What do you think?" But it's adorable. And I was like, "Oh, okay. So what's your dog's name?" Paris.
There you go.
Right? I mean, big plans, you guys. Big plans. That's all I'm saying. She at least has a plan. Okay. It is time to wrap it up and edit and get on a plane. So thank you guys. So many of you joined us today. Thank you so much for putting us in your schedule and telling your bosses, or if you're the boss, that you gave yourself a little time off to enjoy some Gymcastic on a Tuesday morning. And thank you guys again so much for supporting us. Really, like this kind of trip is only possible because of you guys, because of our Club Gym Nerd members. So thank you. Especially because the hotel we usually get was great and we could podcast from there, but now it has been bought out by a chain and it's so crappy that the internet was impossible and we couldn't stream from there. So we had to freaking rent a room in one of these co-working spaces. Anywho, could not do this without you guys. So thank you so much.
And if you are not a Club Gym Nerd member, this is where we say, toodaloo, because we have a special bonus just for our Club Gym Nerd members.
This is a little bit of the magic of Zoe Miller. Zoe Miller, as we call her, Zoe the Quote Machine Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Have a wonderful, wonderful week. We will see you on Friday at 6-ish p.m. with your mocktail or cocktail ready to discuss the meets. So thank you again. Have a wonderful week, you guys, and we'll see you on Friday for College and Cocktails. Thanks for listening. Take up on gay, split on rights.